everybody, Matt and Rick here from Talking Habs, and finally back. We're going to talk about Nick Suzuki and the Selke race. We're going to talk about Ivan Demidov and the Calder race. We're going to talk about Yuri Slavkovsky. Has he arrived? Is he finally kind of showing why he was drafted first overall? And we're also going to talk about their kind of chances of winning the Atlantic Division as well. HabNormals starts now. I love that new intro.
Not new anymore.
Well, yeah. Anyway, it's been a minute since we've seen that intro. So
yeah,
good. But yeah, no, a lot of talk about in Habsland. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of good things. Yeah, I guess we'll start off. We'll talk about Nick Suzuki a little bit. So I feel like we have obviously kind of talked about it throughout his career so far that he would eventually kind of be in a Selke kind of race. That's just it's the type of way he plays, and certainly looks like he's leading it right now, right?
That's what they're saying anyway. He's with Barkov out anyway.
Right.
Barkov not in there. Suzuki, last I saw, which was last week anyway, reading. I don't know who wrote that. That he's the favorite for most. I don't know who votes on that, but
I think it's the writers. I'm pretty sure it's the hockey writers.
Yes, I don't know if they were talking. It was writers that they were talking to, or scouts. I don't know why I think scouts, but yeah, I mean, he seems to be the favorite to win that this year. Which I mean, yeah, I can't. I mean, I guess depends where he finishes points wise. So
yeah, I think he's on pace for got to be close to 100, right? In the 90s, anyway.
Yeah, he's on pace for what he did last year.
Yeah,
I didn't calculate his pace, but it's around there, around 90.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see if he maybe has a few games here and there where he kind of racks up points, but no, I mean, I think he'll probably end up finishing around 90, maybe 95. I think he's got a good shot at winning it. I mean, I think for me, like, I know he's not Bergeron, but I'm reminded of Bergeron a lot when I watch Nick Suzuki play, and it's, certainly not, or at least I'm not the only one that really kind of feels that way, And like I said, he's not Bergeron, Cam, relax, but he reminds you of that type of player, that type of leader.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as far as points total, I mean, he has them now. I just said, if he falls off, I don't think he's going to fall off though.
No, me neither.
But no, I don't. I can't think of anybody else either. I'm trying to think of somebody else that I would think, that might win it other than him. Obviously, he'll have two finalists with him, but if he's a final, I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but got to think he will be.
Yeah, I think he'll get to that point for sure. I think just watch him play, and you can see why. Yeah. He's just a phenomenal center. He's a great two-way game, and yeah, it'd be cool to see him win it. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean it would be, especially since we might win a couple other. I don't know about a couple others, but there's one I'm hoping for. We'll get to that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it's just been a difficult day, so I'm trying to get up to speed here. Yeah, listen, Suzuki is the favorite for now. I don't see anybody else overtaking him for this.
No, not as of right now. No, I'm right there with you.
I can't even like. I'm sitting here trying to think of other names of guys that'll be there with him, but I can't for some reason. With Barkov out, because Barkov seems to be the favorite every year these days. I guess. No, I can't think of anybody other than Suzuki, to be very honest with you. There are obviously guys out there.
I remember who's up there with them.
So you guys watching, who do you think other than Suzuki would be a finalist for the Selke Trophy this season? Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess with that. So the other, let's move on to the other trophy. I don't think it's the only trophy that Montreal players will win. But I don't the Calder Trophy, right? With Demidov, we've been saying that for a while. Going into the season, the favorite, but right now he's not the favorite to win the Calder Trophy, which is weird because he's leading the race, but he's not the favorite right now. So, but I do think he'll end up winning it anyway. But it's something that on the reason I put this in here was, um, what was it? Who was it that? Yeah, it was. We were talking about this yesterday. Were we not?
Oh yeah, Brian Wild, Call the Wild.
Brian Wild is a writer here in Montreal. He writes this column called "Call the Wild," and it's always right after every game. And he was saying that, well, first of all, apparently in Vegas, the odds makers have Matthew Schaefer of the Islanders, the defenseman, as the favorite, even though Demidov is leading the race. And anyway, but Schaefer's the favorite. Similar to last year, where Celebrini was the same. It was the same odds. The odds makers had Celebrini winning it, and it wasn't. It didn't turn till at the very end where it became Hudson over the last. I want to say just the last few weeks of the season. So it's similar.
About the last month, to be honest.
Was maybe the month, yeah. But it's similar this way this year with Schaefer and Demidov because Demidov. Okay, so Demidov's leading and Schaefer is the odds-on favorite. So the point that I wanted to get to here was how many points ahead of Schaefer would Demidov have to be to win the Calder Trophy? Brian Wild, the writer, seems to think he's going to have to be a point-per-game player. That means 82 points in 82 games, which I don't think he's going to hit, to be honest. I don't think he's going to hit that. Do you?
No, I think he'll be somewhere in the 70s though. He's sort of on pace for that.
He's currently
just under.
Best I can make it without using a calculator because I didn't. Is he's on a 67-point pace right now, but it does go up and down. If he had a 3-point game the other day. I mean, so it went back up and then. So it depends how many points he has in a game or if he has any. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to hit 82 though. He's got 34 games left.
Right.
He's at 40 points. He needs 42 in 34 games. So I don't think he's going to hit that.
Right.
Now, when I read the Call of the Wild that day, I didn't agree. I usually agree with Brian Wild. I didn't agree here. I don't think he needs to hit 82 points for him to. I think the point that he made was it has to be a number that you can't deny.
Right.
And then vote for Schaefer. It has to be a number from Lane Hudson that you got to look at it and go, that's the Calder winner. There's no doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that 70 or 75 points? That's where I have it at, somewhere between 70 and 75. I got to think if he finishes 10 or I'm going to say not 10 because I said this last year with Hudson that if Hudson finished 10 points ahead of the forwards, that he was going to win the Calder as a defenseman. If you can be within the 10 points or above, you're going to win it. So in this case, it's a forward over a defenseman. I kind of think, though, Demidov's got to be about 15 points ahead of Schaefer to win this Calder Trophy. I think I lost Matt.
No, still here.
Oh, you're there? Yes, I was waiting for you to comment on that.
That kind of night. But no, I think for me, like, if Demidov's a solid 15 points ahead of Schaefer, I think it goes to him. I understand, and look, I think Schaefer's probably the only other guy that right now for me, maybe Beckett, Seneca would be the three guys I think that are in that conversation. I think Matthew Schaefer's a terrific defenseman. I think he's going to be, a world beater for the Islanders for years to come. But yeah, I mean, if Demidov's 15, even 20 points more than him, I can't see how it doesn't go to Demidov. But I do think Schaefer's, kind of having the, the effect on the Islanders that Lane Hudson had on the Habs last year, and it's continued to have this year, right? Like when you get someone like that on the back end that can defend and, that can really produce on offense as well and move the puck. It's game changing, and I think that's sort of why some people give Schaefer the edge, and I get it, and again I think if they're close in points, I think Schaefer would take it.
If
Again,
they're close in
we just have to
points,
see.
it just what's the separation that's needed. That's
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, if that was the kind of accepted thing last season, that if Hudson finished 10 points within 10 points or 10 points above, I don't think he had to finish 10 points above. It was if he finished within 10 points of Celebrini, because there was a point where it looked like Celebrini was gonna like walk away as far as points, like be way more than he actually ended up with. That if that was the case, that Hudson would win the Calder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely with it. But what is the number? Like if Demidov is 11 points ahead of Schaefer, shouldn't that be enough? If last year that was the standard, why would it change? This is, I guess, my question. Why would Hudson have to have that many points more than Hudson had to, or I guess Celebrini would have had to have over Hudson? Because I guess that's the thing, right? Demidov's the forward. Celebrini's the guy we're kind of comparing with, right? And Celebrini obviously finished a little behind Hudson, so there wasn't really an argument there. But if Celebrini would have finished like 7 points ahead of Hudson last season, would that have been enough to win the Calder over Hudson? Like, I don't know. And then if that's the case, why isn't that the same standard this year with Schaefer? What is it about Schaefer that would make that change? Just his situation with his mom and all that? You think that's what it is?
I mean, certainly could be. I mean, I honestly I couldn't tell you. Could be because he's also Canadian.
Well, what would that have to do with it?
I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing there, but yeah, it is kind of strange that has changed a little bit.
Yeah, I
Dude,
don't know. I guess it's the the story, his backstory is very emotional. I mean, I get that. He is 18, Demidov's 19. I don't see that big a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a defenseman, so it's a harder position, and I get that. But again, so what's the point? The points total that would be needed. I guess my point being also that I don't think it's 82. I mean, because if that's the case, I don't think he's going to win the Calder then. Because I don't see him hitting 82 points. I do see him getting into, I can see him getting somewhere in the low 70s.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I said, if he gets there, it depends on how many more points he has than Schaefer. Like if he's, I think for me, if he's like I said, a solid 15 above him, which I think he's got 11 on him now. Something like that. I think Demidov would lock it up at that point. But I think that's kind of like that 10 to 15 range. I guess it's kind of like a gray area because, like, again, just who knows. But
I'm looking for the Calder race here, and it's funny. They give me some article about it. Don't give me a list of the Calder leaders. Hang on, I'm going to find it. I just want to see the lead because I have a feeling that Schaefer might be falling off a little bit. Okay, again, they're giving me. It's so funny. I do you find searching on Google a little harder than it used to be? I don't know. To get what you want, I don't know. I can't get the damn list for. Give me a list of, but not totals. Points totals. Okay, leaders, points. Bear with us, people. Nope. didn't change. Okay, he's got 45 games. Oh, how old is this? It cannot be. He's only got 29 points.
Is he still only there?
Well, I'm on. It's and it's from the Athletic. How is that possible? Stats: 45 games played, 12 goals, 17 assists, 29 points.
He's at 30 points now. But Demidov's got him by 10. Demidov's at 40.
Oh, what am I
at 35.
I'm thinking at the end of the season numbers. Oh my God! I'm sorry, people. I'm telling you, I'm having a weird day today. Okay, he's got him by 11 points at this point right now, and 3 games in hand for Schaefer. Yeah, this is going to be a race. I don't know. He's the favorite. That's all I know. Anyway, we'll see. I think Demidov's going to pick up his numbers a little bit, but I guess if he doesn't, Schaefer's going to win that. I don't know how else to look at it. Anyway, I'm going to be disappointed if Demidov doesn't win the Calder. So I'm hoping for 2 trophies this season for the Habs. When was the last time we had 2 players win a trophy?
Yeah, that's got to be way back.
Carey Price?
Yeah.
Carey Price.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, or 2 trophies. So it doesn't have to be 2 players, but that
I was thinking more 2 players, but yeah.
5 players. Been a while. Anyway, that's all I got on that. All right, let's move on. I don't have anything on that.
But to your point too, right? Like that was Carey Price. That was a goalie. Like when was the last time the Habs had like skaters that were winning trophies?
I do actually have something that because I thought we were going to do this a little later in the show. I didn't think we were going to go right into topics. Here is something that could make Demidov, that could elevate Demidov in that. And this is, I guess, a bunch of different stats. But if you look at the far right, their total points per 60. Demidov is 12th in the entire league. This is not rookies. In points per 60. I don't see Schaefer there, and I don't know where Schaefer is on the list. But you got to think that's a pretty good accomplishment right there. In his rookie season, he's 12th in the league in points per 60 minutes. That kind of stats like that have to help him if he's gonna win the Calder, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. And that's actually a really, really good stat. Because that basically says, per 60 minutes of play, where you're expected to get points, which I think, kind of goes to show more of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess more consistency, right? Because it was what, was it a little over 1 per 60? I couldn't really see it. My screen was.
Oh, okay. No, it's 2.83.
Yeah, so almost 3 points per 60 minutes. That's.
Yeah. Look who he's there with.
That's a crazy stat. Yeah, exactly. Marner, Hagel, Connor.
There's some good. There's some. And and at the beginning of the season, it kind of didn't. If you think back on it, you got to think how, right? But he really picked it up when he got the ice time. They increased his ice time, but you also got to think how effective he has been overall.
100%, right? And that his line too. And we'll get into one of his line mates in a little bit, but yeah, that line in general, just the chemistry that those guys have, right? It's
Yep.
Yep.
And listen, I don't know where Slaf is on that list. I don't know where Kapanen is on that list, but Demidov, because it kind of that Slaf is driving that line. But you see that, you think maybe it's not really Slaf driving the line. Totally, it's Demidov driving the line.
Well, I think it's kind of a combination, right? Because I guess the crazy thing is, right, like Demidov leads. Not only does he lead in points, he leads rookies in assists. His line mate Oliver Kapanen leads in goals right now.
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen. If you're not playing your A game and you're playing like a 2.8 whatever it was, point per 60 type of player, right? Like, and we see that on the ice. Every time that line's out there, they have the puck in the offensive zone. They're getting chances.
Yeah.
And
especially of late.
thing.
Especially of late. I mean, not only just since when Slaf got elevated to the line, it still took a few games, but I mean, the last 12, 15 games.
Yeah.
12 games, 15. That line has been as good as line one. How better for a while there. There was a few till Texier got added to line one.
And we'll talk about him a little bit earlier. We'll have to mention him in the intro. We're gonna get to Texier too a little bit later.
Yeah. So that that line was the best line for a little while.
100%.
Now, between the two, the top six is just good in general. Yeah. Anyway, I just think I want Demidov to win that Calder Trophy.
I'd love it. I'd love back to back. That'd be cool.
I want us to win it. So I don't. It's not like I don't like Schaefer. Think anything bad. I'm not talking bad about him, but damn, he had to come along this year. Because honestly, if it stays like this, Schaefer's gonna win the Calder.
It's funny too. So I was looking at the point leaders and rookies, and Oliver Kapanen's like right on Schaefer's tail too. Kapanen's at 27.
Yeah, he's not far behind, but again, right? He's not going to win it. And Seneca, when who is behind Wallstat in this thing here, but Seneca is a forward, so as long as Demidov stays ahead of him, he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna win it over Demidov. And he is sitting at 34 points, so not too bad, Seneca. Anyway, Demidov for me. Even if he's only 2 points ahead of Schaefer, I'd be voting for Demidov. But I'm biased, so there you go. All right, let's move on to the next one. Speaking of line mates, we're asking. I'll put this up. We're asking the question here. It's not a question. It's a statement there. Slavkovsky has emerged. I don't think at this point you can even question that, right? He's on pace for the same. He's right around the same as. I don't have the list here anymore, but I'm going to look for it. Give me a sec. He's almost the same points as Demidov, so it's the same pace basically for Slaf. So it's no longer like he's going to get. He'll get like 55. It'll be a little improvement, all that. If he gets what his pace is right now. And let's see, he's only 2 points off of Demidov, so his pace is about 65, 67. But that's a hell of an increase from 51 last season. And I think his pace is increasing because he's the second half kind of scorer, right? That's what he's been in his first 2 seasons. If he does that this year, on top of the fact that he has had a good first half, I think he could hit in the 70s as well.
Yeah, just watching him play, especially, the last, 20-odd games, and obviously before that, but just the way that he's, really kind of figured out how to use his body, right? Like that 6'4", 225-pound frame, and, kind of realized, hey, I can just boulder through a lot of these guys and just make space and get the puck to to Kapanen and Demidov and, let them do their thing. And,
man strength is coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy, but that extra, he's grown into that strength now,
Oh, absolutely. And I think he's really improved in terms of protecting the puck, like when he brings it in the zone. He'll take it right to the corner and he draws like 2 defenders on him.
Yep.
And that leaves Kapanen and Demidov usually on like a 2-on-1 or something like that. But I think, just his ability to use his size to break the puck in and just be really hard to play against. Again, he's still very young. He's still learning things. I still think he needs to learn like when to dump it versus when to carry it, because he has kind of given up a few times trying to break in. But
how old is he? 23?
Yeah, he's 22.
22 still, I think.
Yeah, so I mean,
March he'll be 23.
He'll learn that. So that's
But his last before I don't know if it's just before last night's game or the one before. He was on a 12-game streak of 18 points. That's good streak, and that is goes along with what I'm saying. Right as the season's going along, you can see his points per game total numbers going up.
Oh yeah, so he had a bunch of multi-point games too. It wasn't like 1 point each game. Like he had like a stretch of games where he was. I think maybe one time he only had 1 point. It was mostly 2-3 point efforts.
Yeah, so that's why I think whatever pace he's on, I don't think that's where he's going to end up. I think he's going to end up as long as things work out as they have been so far, and he continues on that trend. The team continues on, the trajectory that they're on. But I think this we can say, and this is like two seasons ahead of where Montreal, when they drafted him, where they thought he'd be at this level where he's playing right now. At what age they thought he'd be doing that at is like 24, right? If I remember correctly, right? But he's a little bit ahead. But this is the guy that they drafted. He's showing like who they saw. He's arrived.
Oh, 100%. I also want to say too, I think he's improved on the back end too. The whole top six, I think the plus, I want to say Capita might be the lowest at like a +7. Everybody else is over that, in terms of being a plus.
Plus mine, yeah.
But they're doing a lot better in their own end, as well.
Highly offensive teams are usually like that, and Montreal's offense is right up there near the top of the league. I had predicted them before the season started. I think at 294 goals. I'm not sure where it was exactly. Couldn't find the papers. Somewhere either 289 up to 294. I had them in there when I added everything up. They're on pace for 280 plus right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the team's found those goals.
No, absolutely. But, it also. And Slaf in particular, and that line of the young guys really look good in their own end too. I think they've improved there, and I think for me too, like, and I've always thought that Slaf has had really good vision out there. I think he's gotten better vision. I just think he sees the ice better. I think he's thinking the game a lot quicker. You see the way that he makes plays, the way he makes passes, right? It's almost anticipatory at times where, kind of like Demidov and Kapanen, right? Like, they know where these guys are going to put the puck, or they know where these guys are going to be on the ice, so they know where to find them.
Yeah, there's good chemistry between them. There's definitely good chemistry. I mean, Slaf, his confidence is there. You can see that it's one of the differences.
Absolutely.
He looks more confident. He carries the puck with more confidence. He doesn't get pushed around like he used to. When there's a fight or whatever, he used to kind of look, and not exactly like a deer in the headlights, but sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's young, even though he's got that big body, but he was still young. It's not the same anymore. He doesn't get intimidated anymore at all. He used to sort of show it a little bit. I saw it a little bit. This year, no, there's a new confidence in Slaf to go along with, and I imagine that's what driving the where he's at, his improvement.
Yeah, it definitely looks a lot more, like I said too. Definitely a lot more confident carrying the puck, trying to make break-ins into the offensive zone. You see that on a nightly basis. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was he finally went, wait, I'm 6'4", 225 pounds. Why am I not using that? Like, he's a strong dude. Like, what, and
but
he's got to realize, like, listen, I can just kind of hold the puck and, fend guys off. Like, they can't take the puck off me.
and he's been really good at protecting the puck and just carrying it and making the better decisions with the puck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think Slaf's finally arrived. I mean,
Yeah, I think
it's been a
so. I
big
think we're
big
finally,
topic.
like you said, seeing. Sorry,
It's okay.
but no, we're kind of finally seeing that player that they drafted first overall, and I think he's just gonna keep getting better, right? Like this is kind of a
Yeah, I don't think
baseline,
he's.
almost, you
I
know
don't
what I
think he's
mean?
through
And as
ceiling.
he gets older, and he'll keep learning things, and he'll get even better, which kind of a scary thing for the rest of the league because once he really gets really gets going, right? You get a guy like Demidov and a guy like Kapanen with him.
I think
Like
he's.
that's scary. That's a scary line.
I think he's close to his. I think he's close to his ceiling at this point. And so I think I don't really see Slaf as like a point per game kind of power forward,
No,
but
I don't think he'll be
he's
around
somewhat
there, but
close.
I think he should be 70, maybe
Yeah,
75.
I think between 65 and 75, I think is how I kind of see him, right? But I mean, he's there. Right? He's already there, so he's getting close to his ceiling. But I think points wise for the ceiling, I think he's still got a little more maturity. There's more to his game yet.
No, absolutely. And like I
Than
said, I think for me,
just the
like
points.
learning when to just dump the puck in and just hit, go in there and
Yeah,
like bang bodies versus Cat, because he does, tend to kind of get caught and lose the puck sometimes trying to do a little bit too
yeah,
much. But that's being a 22-year-old, hockey
yeah,
player.
yeah.
That'll come in time. But yeah, I think, probably 70, 75 point player. Like, yeah, I think point wise, for as a ceiling. And, you think about that, coupled with, we know Suzuki's over a point per game guy. Caulfield's a point per game guy. Like, we can kind of
Close.
be
He
honest.
dropped off a
He's
little.
basically right there. Like,
He's dropped off a little bit. Gotta say, it's a little concerning about the goals right now.
he's 20, 21 goals, 22 assists.
Yeah, it's a bit of he's dropped off in his production a little bit.
I mean, he's still on pace for close to 40.
Yeah, no, he's now on pace. He's somewhere in the 30s. He's not on pace for 40 anymore.
I can't be that far off.
Well, he's
20,
got 21 goals.
21 goals in
48 games.
46 games. Oh, 48 games.
Yeah. It's like 37. Like last year, he's on the same pace as last year, basically.
Yeah, but again, I mean, he could like, I just think he still has a good shot at hitting.
Oh
40.
yeah, I'm not saying
he can score in bunches.
I just said his pace fell off. That's all. I didn't say that.
He's still almost at,
Yeah,
he's got like 45 points, I think.
He's in a bit of a, even though he's getting goals, but he's in a bit of a, weirdly to say, a bit of a slump. Right, the consistency's gone away a little bit, but I think it'll come back. I mean, everybody.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, like, he's still almost a point per game player, like 40, 45 points, I think, in 48 games.
He's got 43 and 48. Yeah. Unless I don't think he got one last night, so it's 43.
Yeah, no.
Oh, he's right. I'm right here. I'm on the page. You're right. He's got 45. He must have got 2 points. I didn't realize last night.
He had an assist. I know he had a goal last night. He had an assist too, I think.
I think he must have got 2 because I think he had 43 going into the game last night. I didn't think he got any points.
He got a goal. I think he might have got 2 assists.
He did get a goal, didn't he? I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he got the first goal, the rebound. He took the first rebound. Yeah.
I'm an idiot, and I think he got 2 points last night. So 45 and 48. Yeah, I mean he's still. I mean it's not far off a point a game.
No, and like the pace is like, he's probably. I think it is ceiling. He's probably be around like a 40 goals, 40 assists. Like he's still only 24. And
oh yeah, no, I know that.
I mean, I think at his ceiling, he's probably a 40 type of guy.
22, 48. He's got 34 games. He's gonna get another. He's on like a 38 goal pace, so he's right around his last year's pace. But again, one good night, 2 or 3 games in a row where he maybe gets a 2, 3, 4 game goal scoring streak, and that pace will go up.
100%. But I
So
think
he's
it's
still
also
able.
important to, like I said, mention like
He's not going to get
he's up to
50
the
this year.
23 assists. Like he's on,
Yeah. No, that's not
still on
no.
pace for like
His overall
70, 80
game.
points ish.
Listen, his overall game is fine. It's the pace for the goal scoring. So like 50 goals, we're not seeing that this year, but 40 is still potentially there. So it is what it is. It's fine. It is what it is. I'm disappointed that we're not, because I really thought he was going to hit the 50. I mean, it was
He's
looking
only
like
24,
it.
my dude. He hasn't even hit his prime.
But all he has to do, really, he had that real, like that was a hot streak to open the season. He was on a streak.
Yeah.
He does that again, and it changes, and then it becomes maybe in reach. So, I've been waiting for that streak to happen again. It just hasn't. He hasn't been consistent like that, like at the beginning of the year in the first 15 games, I'd say.
Yeah, and you have like 5 overtime winners too in that time.
Yeah, I mean, if he can just get back to that, which isn't unthinkable, right? I mean, so
well,
if he
no, I
does
mean
that,
his skill set. I mean, we know he can score in bunches.
yeah. So
he can score in a friggin' phone booth with the
just has
goalie
to
in the
get
phone
back
booth.
to that. I kind of think also everybody else is scoring too.
Well,
There's
right.
only
That's
so
what
many
I was
goals.
gonna kind of start talking about. Like you got, he's at 21 goals, but Suzuki's at I think 18, 19.
They're the first team this season.
Happening's at 17. I think Demidov's at 11. Slaf, I think, is close to double digits, if not already there.
Slaf is at 17. They're the first team this season with 4 40-pointers. So that's something else too.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? And not even just from the forwards. Look at what they're getting from the back end. Like Noah Dobson's been fantastic.
But my point was, there's only so many goals that they're going to score. It's not like they're going to score 300 or 320. Like that's right. There's only so many goals, and they're being split up by a lot of people this year. So it is kind of understandable maybe that his pace of scoring fell off. His assists are doing fine. So overall, he's fine.
Yeah, he's like a plus 13 too. I mean, the kid's still one of the top forwards in the game.
He's a plus 12 right now.
Plus 12. I mean,
but yeah, I mean the plus minus is. I'm looking now. I haven't seen a minus yet. Bolduc is on a minus. Galleys, So the top players, though, they're all pluses.
Right. Top defenders too. Dobson, I think, is a plus right now. Hudson's like a plus 13, I think. It's something like that. He's at a plus 9, 10, somewhere
plus 15. He's right behind Suzuki. So yeah, no, that's stuff.
Lane Hudson also has 118 points, I think, in 140 something games.
Let's see.
My math is right. My math might be wrong though.
Hang on.
It's around there because he's got 102 assists.
115 because he had 2 in his first season, the first 2 games there that year. Yeah. So 115. I don't know how many games though.
Well, he played all 82 last year, plus 48 this year.
And 2. So 82 and so 132 games. 115 points.
Pretty good.
Not
pretty good for a 20-year-old.
And if you
21-year-old, it's pretty good.
When
defenseman
Cam and Alex laughing at me when I'm comparing him to Cale Makar.
Well, I think
not on goal scoring.
Cale Makar's a much better defender.
Yeah, and I'm not comparing him on goal scoring either. But I said, and I didn't say he was as good either, but I said might be I think he's going to end up being he's the second best defenseman in the league. That's what it'll be.
I mean, you could honestly, I think you could have an argument between him and Quinn Hughes right now. Like, I think you could have a legit argument. And people might call me crazy for saying that, but
more than
look
legit.
At their sides. Look at the way those two guys play.
It's more than legit.
Like,
his numbers are better.
I think, what was it? I think he had more points than Quinn Hughes in the city. Yeah. What was it? 100 games? Something like that.
Yes.
And they brought it up, and him and Makar were here tied, and Hughes was here. Or something like that.
I
wish I had the graphic, but I don't have the graphic.
I'm sorry, but he's gonna be. He's gonna. I think he's better than Quinn Hughes. You can
And he
say, well,
makes
maybe
$2
not
million.
right now because Quinn Hughes has more experience, and I get that.
Right? No,
But give
100%.
it a couple of years, another season or two, and he's above Quinn Hughes. My opinion.
Yeah. No, I think you could
He'll be second
absolutely
only
make that
to.
argument. I mean, the kid's on pace for. I mean, he's in his second year, and he's going to score probably 75 points, and then
Oh, Hudson is on pace for
he's good. I think he's got what
47
40.
right now. He's got.
Yeah,
So he's on. I'm
like
sorry, he's
80
on pace
points.
for 80.
I mean, like as a second year defenseman, that's really good. Like
That's my
really
point, right?
good.
All those milestones kind of things, right? Well, McCarr did this, McCarr. Well, he's doing that now. Look at those kind of numbers. That's McCarr kind of numbers. Matter of fact, that's better than McCarr, and it's way better in his second season.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I know it's way better than Quinn Hughes. I know it is.
I know I'm right. I just don't know how many games McCarr played for the numbers he got. That's the difference. So I think McCarr played less games, had lower numbers, but he played less games. But it's right there. He's right. The only thing I don't think you can touch him for right now, defense, that's true, and goal scoring. So I'm not.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, like Lane Hudson, 10, 15 goals a season is pretty much what he'll get.
Yeah, where McCarr can put up 25, 30 goals, right?
But Lane Hudson's also probably like in his prime, which we're not even close to yet. He might even be like an 80 assist guy in his prime. I think he's on pace for like 70 something this year. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So this guy, anyway, we're gonna see where Hudson gets, but I laugh because Cam and Alex still they do it a little bit. Still got to wait and see. We're not sure yet. I don't know. You don't know what you're looking at, but I get it that they don't see him every game.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, Alex watches a lot of hockey, and he's kind of
see him every
starting
game
to lean that way. But like when he and I talk, but Cam does not watch a lot of hockey outside of the
No, and I see Hudson every game, so I see what he's that's my prediction anyway. He will be considered the second best defenseman behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fifth in Norris right now.
Yeah, well, yeah. He'll be. I wouldn't be surprised even this year if he's a finalist, but I don't know that he will be. But I made a prediction that I think he will be, but wouldn't surprise me if he's a finalist this year. After that, I think he will, and he'll win one too. When I don't know, but he'll win one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. And because we veered off completely, and we got a bit to cover here yet. Quickly, and we don't have to talk about this too long, but you think because this is a hot take I made at the beginning of the season that they're going to win the Atlantic Division. So, can they win the Atlantic realistically? That's the question. What do you think?
With points being really tight right now, I mean, I think it would be dishonest to say that they can't. But I think looking at a team like the Lightning, and I think the Lightning with their experience are in better position to take that top spot. But I think second, third might come down to the wire between them and Detroit because they keep flip flopping.
Yeah.
I think behind them, I know there's a 3-point gap between them and Buffalo, who, for anybody who doubts Buffalo, they are not the same Buffalo that started the year. I think if you watch them play like we did last night, it's a totally different team.
It's a better.
And after that, you got Boston, but they're so hot and cold. It's like, I don't know, but I think between the top three right now, obviously Tampa, Detroit, Montreal, and I mean if Buffalo stays hot, but I think between those three teams, I think that's probably your top three in the division because I think again like Tampa with their experience, and I think the Canadiens and the Red Wings, with their kind of youth movements are hitting their stride really, kind of right now.
Yeah, as long
I
as
just
they
think it's harder for those other teams, especially like for me, like a team like Boston, who's, they do have some young, some good young talent there, Kuznatinov, whatever his name is. But they have other players that I just don't think can catch up, pace wise, and I saw that in person, on the 23rd, I was at that game. The Canadians were the fastest team by a long shot. And, I think having that speed and, having the skill that the Canadians have, and, now that, again, I know it's been 3 games, but Sam Montembeaul's look like vintage Sam Montembeault.
4 games.
They should finish in the top 3 in the division. Again, I think with Tampa's experience, they could end up pulling away. Also depends on, Braden Point, obviously, with that injury. But, I think right now, I think it would be dishonest to say that it's unrealistic, because I think with how tight points are, it's certainly well within their grasp.
Yeah, I mean, one of those teams has an injury that, the wrong injury, and that could change things. So okay, so to like you, I think it's not out of the question that they could finish in first. I still like it as a hot take, but I don't know that it's 100% realistic the way Tampa's playing. Tampa is ahead of us by 2 points now, and they've got 2 games in hand. So It's already a little bit of it's a mound to climb, not a hill yet, but with their experience and everything. So, yeah, I do think though second is possible, but I'm going to agree with you that I think they'll be one of the top 3 teams in the division. Still though, they got to be consistently winning. They cannot go through any long losing streaks at all.
No, and I think, this season too, which I think is, been impressive with how young they are. And we talked about it last night. They've only lost, I think, more than 3 in a row once.
No, they had one bad losing streak.
Right.
Where we lost like 7 out of 8, I think.
Right, but since then been
they haven't had more than
like 3 or 4 wins, and then maybe they drop a game or 2, and then 3 more wins, and then they drop
But they haven't had longer than 2-game losing streaks since then.
Right, and if you can stay consistent with that, and I think they have a great opportunity to pick up a win.
It's an if that is a big if for any team, really.
Right.
Think about it, but I mean, it's an if that they have to do. I don't know. And there's teams that are going to be breathing down their necks. So that's being the youngest team in the league, really. That's going to be a challenge for them, is to consistently close out games that they should be closing out and not lose ground that way. If they can do that, yeah, I mean, I think for sure they're going to keep at the very least where they are and be
third. And look, I think they have, obviously shown this season that they can shake off, say they drop a game or they drop 2, they can shake that off and go out and, win 2 or 3 in a row, maybe get an overtime loss and then, still pick up those points.
Yeah.
I think this team
that's the thing.
Mentally, I think is honestly being as young as they are, I think they're more mentally mature than I think people give them credit for, right? And I think it, again, it has to do with the coaching, but I think it also it has to do with the character of a lot of these young guys on the team. Like, I use Lane Hudson as an example. I've watched him his whole career since college, and he's always, even with how young he is, he's always been able to be consistent and make his teammates consistent, and he doesn't let anything get to him. His focus is just on getting better and finding ways to make his team more consistent. And I think a lot of the other guys kind of have that same mentality. Guys like Demidov, Slafkovsky.
Yeah, but they're still a young team, so they're
100%.
Do they find that consistency to close out games and whatever this season or not? I don't know, right? Because crunch time is coming, and the races are so tight that we're going to be in playoff hockey well before playoffs arrive.
Right? 100%.
Pretty soon, as a matter of fact, when you think about it, there's 34 games left. They're going to be in playoff mode in playoff hockey in the next 10 games. There's going to be playoff hockey because as the teams, especially if the races stay this close, right? It's going to be a hell of a finish, and should be a lot of fun. So the answer to the question is, can they win the division? They could. I don't think they will. I'd love them to, and all that would be great, but I don't think they will. But they could still.
No, 100%. 100%.
I don't know if that's the best thing for them though to do. Although I don't think this management is that, like, if they win the division they'll go, oh, we're way better than we. I don't think the management's going to do that and be like that and make moves and thinking that way. They're still going to keep doing what they're doing and on their plan. So I don't know if it's the best thing for them to win the division, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right, last of the topics, and then we're going to get to our 3 stars. For me, it was for the last little while because we haven't done a podcast in a while.
Yep, me too.
And then we'll take a quick look at next week's games and give our predictions. So that last one is the Texier extension. You know what? Before we get to that, there's something I wanted to bring up and I forgot. Just in case you see this before the game on Saturday is something that I predicted, I think, in the game yesterday, that they were going to send Fowler back down pretty much right after the game or by the morning. They did this morning, along with Owen Beck. So if you're wondering, Fowler and Owen Beck are back in Laval. The best thing that they could have done for Fowler was to send him back to Laval. Why? Because he'll get a lot of starts there. And while we saw he's really close to being fully ready, I don't think he is fully ready yet. And I think the rest of the season in Laval, making the bulk of the starts, he's been fantastic down there. I think by that time when camp rolls around, I think he will be ready. But I don't know. Would you agree with what I said? I don't know that he was 100% fully ready.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think, but I also agree though with you that I think he's very, very close, right? Like,
very close.
He wasn't bad.
No, you look at his numbers and all that. I mean, you can look at his numbers and go, well, he's ready. But there were some things in his game that I think he needs to work on that would be better for him to work on in Laval and not up here.
Well, not only that, but like he needs to be playing hockey, especially at his, being a young goalie, he needs to play hockey, and that just wasn't going to happen here.
Not with 3 goalies.
With 3 goalies, and obviously Monty isn't going anywhere because he'd have to get waived. But with the form he's in, he can't go anywhere. And I think,
no, and it was
I think Dobish is with Dobish having more experience. I think it just made
right, and he's playing well.
Yeah.
No, and they're both playing well again. So, like, you're back to the beginning of the season. It was them. Fowler should be in Laval.
Yeah, and I think Fowler just continue to get better in Laval. Because look, I mean,
sorry, he didn't do what he needed to do to be like, okay, you got to keep me up here. He didn't do that. While he was good, he wasn't that. And I think unless he comes up and he kind of is that goalie where you go, wow, all the time, then he's not where he needs to be here. That's kind of
and again, he's only like 20 years old right now, but he needs to be playing hockey. That's the important thing, and he's going to play a lot of hockey in Laval. But I also will say, like, watching him, right, like we saw, how far along he is in other aspects, right, where we say like he's really close. Like, you look at his positioning, you can kind of look at his movement a little bit, but I think too, like, his mentality, right? Like I've said, again, watching him since he was at Boston College, like he's had, kind of the mental toughness, the mental fortitude, to not only play in the NHL, but to play in Montreal, for a long, long time now. And
and he's got,
we saw that, he never lets anything get to him.
It's that calmness. He's calm.
Yeah.
And that part is ready. That part of his game is ready. It's just some other things. I mean, I don't think he's got far to go, but I'd rather him be coming up here and having that little bit extra than having to find those things that are missing from his game in the NHL. I would rather him not have to do that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, right? That's what the AHL's for. And
Yep.
I agree. He needs to be playing hockey, and that wasn't going to happen in Montreal. And for a young goaltender, you can't have that. So no, I think it's a great decision, and
Yeah,
I think it'll pay off in spades. Once he's fully ready, because
it will.
Watching him, I mean, you could, you having, why I praised him so much, right? Like coming up, again, he's got a lot of it already right now, and a little bit more seasoning down the AHL. But I think he's going to be a phenomenal goalie. Once he's ready, I think he's said we've seen spurts of that, and again, I think he's got kind of the most important thing already ready to go, and that it's his mental fortitude, the way that he thinks about the game, the way that he handles pressure. I mean, he eats it for breakfast. He doesn't let it bother him.
Yep.
And he maintains his focus, and you need to do that if you're going to be a goalie in the NHL, but especially a goalie in Montreal, right? And seeing the goalies, obviously the great goaltenders that came before him in this organization, it's big shoes to fill. If you want to be that guy in net.
Yep.
So.
All right, let's move on. Texier extension. So Alexander Texier extended 2 years, $5 million total, so $2.5 million AAV. Good or bad, and why? He left. All right, I'll start.
No, I'm still here. I'm sorry. I had to. Alicia texted me. She's out. I just want to make sure she was okay.
All right. So you want to go first? Good, bad, why?
No, look, I actually love this deal a lot. I think this is a great deal. There's a great deal for the team. There's a great deal for Alex Texier. I just not only obviously recently he's been on fire. But I just think in general, like, because obviously he's not a first line guy. We know that there's injuries. That's why he's up there. But as a third line depth guy that, I think at his best, probably 25, maybe 30 point type of player. I think it's, at 2 years, $2.5 million, I think that's extremely low risk. And, I think he's a quality depth player. And then, that's what he'll play. He'll probably be a third line winger, when the team's at full health. But, he's shown that you can move him up and down the lineup, and, and he'll perform. He knows what he's doing. I think he's got a really good hockey mind. Sure. And I think he just gels well with the team, really, with anyone he's played with.
There's a chance.
I think he gives 110% effort out there. I think he back checks very underratedly well. And he's good with the puck. I think he's got very underrated puck skills. Yeah, I think overall it's a great deal.
I think there's a chance that even with guys coming back, he stays on line one. Why?
I mean, he very well could. I think there's definitely chemistry there.
There's definitely chemistry there, and if you look at his pace, he's on if he was 82 games, if he was on that line for 82 games, he's on a 50, 51, 52 point pace. That's not bad for considering, who he is. And he's, who would have thought that, right? So this is a guy.
And they basically got him for free.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a guy that can come in, even if he's playing on your whatever bottom lines, and there's an injury, you got a guy that can play on the top line. There's not a lot of guys that can
and play well too, right? He's not just a body on that line. He plays very well.
Producing 25 games, he's been here, 7 goals, 9 assists. That's a hell of a good pace for a guy like that. I'm going to say, right? He's not a superstar. He's anyway, I think it was a really good signing. Money's good, all that stuff, and the fact that he can play anywhere in your lineup, up and down any line, doesn't matter. I think great thing going forward, and he's super happy here. He's a guy who really wants to be here. He's fit in with the group. A little surprised though. I'm a little surprised that they signed him that quickly, but they recognized something in him that works here. And I think the big thing though is he can play on line one. There's not a lot of guys that are going to go and find the way they found him that can play on line one like that. There's just not. No,
there isn't. And I think part of the reason they did this now is I believe he was going to be a UFA. Again, not that
Yeah.
I mean, they probably
Yeah,
weren't
his
that
age, I
worried he was
believe.
going anywhere because I think he was going to come back anyway. And I said that. I've said that within the last couple weeks. Even though I know obviously, he wasn't going to keep scoring at the pace he was on. But I still thought they'd bring him back. I thought it was a no-brainer, especially at his age. He's still relatively young, and as a guy that like as I said, at full health, he's probably a third-line guy. But the fact that you can move him anywhere in the lineup and he'll play well and he'll produce and he'll give you that effort and work hard. At $2.5 million, that's a steal. Especially if you want to build a team that can compete, right, and contend for championships down the road. So.
Yeah, and that's term, no risk.
With the cap going up, I mean that's like pocket change right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's nothing.
All right, we're about to move into the next phase of this. Just to say to you, anything we just talked about here, let us know what you think in the comment section. You agree with us? What do you think about Texier, the signing? What do you think about if they can win the division and all that stuff? Let us know in the in that comment section there. Give a thumbs up if you're enjoying this so far. And I'm gonna pause here for a second. You're not gonna know it. We're gonna pause and be right back. All right, you see, you didn't hardly notice anything. All right, so we're going to talk about our 3 stars of it's usually 3 stars of the week, but since we haven't done a pod in, I don't know, it's got to be about a month. So it's going to be just over the last little while. I don't know how many games it entails, but yeah, our 3 stars, best players we've fought for the last little while. How's that? Make sense? Here's mine. My 3 stars. Okay, it starts with number 3 at the top, even though it's hidden by the QR code. Nick Suzuki. 3rd star for me, Nick Suzuki. Why? Because he's steady Eddie. Amongst a bunch of good Habs, I thought Nick just been steady. He's put up his points. He's still over a point a game, so he hasn't really fallen off. There's been games here and there, but and he's just fantastic 2-way player. Obviously, he's the leader of that group. You can see it in every game, and he had some fantastic games in that stretch as well too. Mm-hmm. So Nick Suzuki, number 3. Number 2, Yuri Slafkovsky, because Slaf has been fantastic for about 21 games, I want to say. It's somewhere around there. Slaf has been fantastic, putting up the points, leading that line to carrying, like everything we said earlier. That's been Slaf. And the proof is there in the points, in his play. Like, he's just been fantastic. So 2nd star for me. 1st star, Lane Hudson, because, again, Lane Hudson, day in, day out, game in, game out, he's been amazing and fun to watch. Very few games that he's not super noticeable out there, right? Where he's all over the ice. He spins, he twists, he turns. What would be like? Can you imagine him not being in the lineup at this point? A game without Lane Hudson?
I don't want to.
Yeah, it's like a day without sunshine. So Lane Hudson, who will win probably the 1st star many, many times in his career, Lane Hudson. So, and I have 2 honorable mentions. Ivan Demidov has been fantastic as well. I mean, so is Kapanen. I didn't want to go more than 2 honorable mentions. But Ivan Demidov, oh man, has he been fantastic? He's a sublime passer. And then his one-timers, it's like he's releasing a freaking rocket.
It's a laser beam. Laser beam. So he's gonna, like, once he feels more comfortable using that more, he's gonna be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, that's where
I agree. He's an elite passer of the puck. He's an elite playmaker.
Yeah,
he's got a howitzer of a shot. He's just got to be
comfortable
using that more. But man,
he needs to use it more. And vision, he's got great vision on the ice, and he is. I think he's starting. The confidence is starting to come. That it's starting to come, even though he's in his rookie year. he's probably going to get about 70 points. This kid is sky's the limit for him on his ceiling. Alex Texier. Not every single game, but man, he had those 2 games where he had 6 points in 2 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. He was off the wall, fantastic. I think in every game he's been pretty consistent, fitting in really well on that top line. I think he deserves a star for that. So for me, those are the 5 stars for the month for me. What do you got?
Yeah, so pretty similar. Like we kind of discussed during our little break. I had a feeling we'd have some of the same players. 2 of them are in the same spot. One is not. So I'm going to start with my 3rd star. And I know he hasn't played a lot of games because he just came back, but in the 4 games he's played, he was just absolutely fantastic, and I just think it's just great to see him being back to his former self. That's Sam Montembeault. I have him as my 3rd star. Again, I know he hasn't played a lot because he was down in Laval, obviously on the conditioning stint, but I think without him in those 4 games that we played, I don't know if we win those. He made some terrific saves, some game-saving saves. And I think he lost one of them because it went to an overtime or something. But he really deserved to win all of his games. I think he's 3-1 right now.
Yeah, I think he did lose one of them. Yeah.
But I thought about making him an honorable mention, but I just for me. For just how much more confident I am in him now, and obviously the team is, and how much how good it really has been for him, and if he can really ride that momentum, how good it'll be for the team. So I had him at my 3rd star. 2nd star, Juraj Slafkovsky. For the same reasons you said, he's been one of the best players on the team. Really this season, but definitely the past month or so, month and a half. Really kind of driving that second line, using his body really well. He's again, another young player that's really starting to get confident, in himself and his skills and, his body, right? Using that big frame of his to shield the puck, to protect the puck, to get after pucks. He's not afraid to get in the corner and start banging guys around. He's laid a few real mean hits too this year. Not really shying away from that. So yeah, I think overall Slafkovsky's been fantastic. And 1st star of the team, I think the best player on the team, someone that, we're not in this where we are now if he's not on the team. And, I think that's not even up for debate, but it's Lane Hudson. I think Lane Hudson has been easily the best. What's the word I want to use? I think not only has he been the best player on our team, but I think he's been one of the best players in the league. Really since he kind of stepped foot in the league. Obviously last year, 66 points, won the Calder, but this year he's gone up a level. He's on pace to be almost point per game. And, without him, we're not where we are. We don't take the step that we've taken without him. And offensively, the way that, his misdirections, the way he uses his body, his fakes, like, the way he can create space out of nothing, the way he can hold on to the puck, the way he battles, even against bigger guys, like he's not afraid of anybody. His vision, the way he can pass the puck, and I think defensively too, right? And I know a lot of people, didn't think that, and some people, which I have to be trolls at this point, or they just don't know what they're talking about. That said he couldn't defend or he's too small to defend. If you watch him, he's actually also been one of our best defenders. He's no slouch in his own end. No. He's not perfect, but by any stretch of the word, but he's always given 110% effort. He's winning puck battles, getting a stick in the way a lot. He's really good too at cutting down angles, forcing guys to the outside, and again, he's not afraid to get in and battle for the puck. And I think he's also so quick that he's able to turn game. When he picks the puck up, he can turn and start going, right, and start rushes. And the Canadians are pretty lethal on the rush because of their speed.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is from Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson at 1. And for my honorable mentions, I do have Nick Suzuki. I think it would be, again, dishonest if I didn't mention him here. I think he's one of the best captains in the league. Without a doubt, probably the best young captain in the league. I think he's a great leader, the way he carries himself. He's a great two-way player, obviously up for the Selke this season. And, again, on pace for 90 some odd points. I think he's really turning into one of the best all-around players in the league, especially at that center position. I think, he's the type of leader that I think will lead this team to a Stanley Cup championship sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And for my second honorable mention, acquisition from last summer, but I have to put Noah Dobson here. I think Noah Dobson has been as advertised. We knew the type of player we were getting when we got him. 6'4", 200-pound, right shot, 25-year-old defenseman who, last year he only put up, I think, 40 points, but that Islanders team wasn't scoring anything. Obviously, the year before that, it's really what Noah Dobson is. He's, he'll give you 15 some odd goals and a crap ton of assists. He's, for 60 to 70 points, and he's kind of on pace for that right now. He's on pace for around 55, 60, I think, and
about 50 something, 50 plus.
But again, as advertised, like that's the type of defenseman he is. He's been really good in his own end, contrary to a lot of Islanders fans who I think, even though they did have Schaefer coming in, were kind of salty that he got moved. Because I think Noah Dobson's a terrific defenseman, and I think he's, again, one of the best defenders in the game. He and Lane Hudson, I think right now are both in the top 20, if not top 15, around there in terms of defenseman scoring. And again, bringing in a guy like Dobson too to play with Mike Matheson, to really take a lot of the what's the word? Not pressure, but just a lot, really kind of evenly distribute the defensive responsibility, I guess, right? In the defensive zone and even offensively is a lot Mike Matheson, right? And how good Mike Matheson has been this season. And so for me, I think that is deserving of an honorable mention.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that's the second one, eh? All right. Let us know, by the way, what you think and who you would put there for the last month or so. So let's take a look at next week's games and see if we can figure out who's going to win and lose. So we've got Saturday, which is tomorrow because we're recording this on Friday night. So Saturday, they are in Ottawa. They come back home Tuesday against Minnesota. Thursday against Buffalo, hopefully getting revenge for last night's loss. And then next Saturday, they will be in Boston, back on the road. What do you got for those games? What do you think?
Yeah, so for me, I think tomorrow night in Ottawa, tonight, if you're listening to this, because this is
that's right.
Friday night. I think that's a very winnable game. That should be 2 points in the bag. I know it's Ottawa. In Ottawa, they usually play us tough. But I think the trajectories of both teams, and I just think the Canadians are a more skilled team right now. I think the morale's a lot better with the Canadians. I see that as a win, and I think has to be a win with how tight everything is. They need to get 2 points there. Minnesota's going to be a pretty good game. Minnesota's a very, very good team right now. Obviously, they added Quinn Hughes, who's another top defenseman in this league, especially from the back end, producing. But I think Minnesota is beatable. But that game, I could see overtime that game. I really could. I know Minnesota hasn't been in the best form as of late, the last week or so. But that game I could see going to overtime. And then from there, anything can happen. But probably an overtime loss if I had to say. Get a point there. Buffalo is... hopefully they can get revenge, but that Buffalo team, like I said earlier, is not the same Buffalo team that started the season. Switch flip somewhere, and no, they're playing really good hockey. They look like a much different team, a team that's fired up. I hope they can take revenge there. I do think a little bit more puck luck. They probably could have gone to overtime. last night. Obviously, recording this Friday night. I don't think the Canadians really played that bad a game.
And there's some questionable calls that might have made it different.
So
they weren't made.
Again, I think maybe another overtime game. Maybe an OT loss or OT win. Kind of on the fence. I'm gonna go win though. Mainly because I think the Canadians kind of know what to expect now, and I think they can kind of game plan better around what Buffalo can bring, right? Because they hadn't played Buffalo since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So I think that's a win, and then Saturday in Boston, fuck the Bruins. Canadians win.
All right, I've got I guess if you're watching, you wouldn't be able to watch it on Friday. So tonight's game, which is Saturday's game, Ottawa. I don't know if I'm as optimistic as Matt. I think they're going to win, but it's going to probably go to overtime. Either way, I think it's 4-3 for Montreal. But it's going to be a tough game, and this could end up being one of those trap games, right? Ottawa's on the bottom of the division, and it should be a winnable game. And it's Ottawa, though, and they surprise us, and they forecheck us into the ground and that kind of stuff. So if they get the goaltending, I think goaltending could be a key there. So we'll see. But I've got it 4-3 for Montreal. Tuesday, Minnesota. I don't know. I don't know how we play against Minnesota. I'm trying to think. I don't think we usually do well.
In the past years, we haven't played well.
Right. No, I think traditionally we don't play well against Minnesota.
No.
I think that's the case here. So even though it's in Montreal, it's the one loss for the week of the 4 games that I have. 3-1 is kind of how I see it. Thursday, Buffalo, we're going to do to them what they did to us. 5-3 win. And Saturday, Boston, like he said, fuck Boston. We're going to win. 4-2 in Boston, and we did it the last time in Boston, and we stomped on them.
I was at that game. That was fun.
I don't think we'll stomp on them as badly, but we'll beat them 4-2, even though they will try to get back and get revenge. Not going to happen. So 3 wins, 1 loss. That's how I see it for this week. And that's it. Got anything to add?
No. I think pretty much covered everything. There was a lot, obviously, a good amount to cover. It's been a while, but it's good to be back. Really good to be back.
All right, so let us know in the comment section anything you want to let us know about. Do that in the comment section. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're just found us and you haven't subscribed yet, or you've been watching for a long time and haven't subscribed yet. Hit that subscribe. Really appreciate that. And that is it. Till next time, which should be next week. We'll see you then, or I don't know what I'm going to say. Stay safe out there. Stay safe out there. Peace out, and have a great week. And go Habs, go, and win the games I said they should win. Go Habs, go. Have a good week.
Go, baby. Good to be back.
Ciao, ciao.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.